Hey guys, this is Chris from How to Make Games, and today we're talking about how to set up a health bar for any playable or enemy character. So here's what we're going to do. Well, first of all, we have our player, our enemy, floor, and then a health bar asset. They're all simple square shapes, and that's just because we don't need anything super complicated or beautiful to get things rolling here. We just want to make sure we have all of our mechanics right before we go anywhere else. Let's just nudge that down then. So if we hit play on this scene, you can see we already have a playable character. It's green. We overlap with the red, which is the enemy. Nothing happens. Okay, so we're going to go to a new scene. We're going to add an event, and we're going to say at the beginning of the scene. By the way, obviously we have the platformer behavior attached to our character so we can move, and then for variables we have health here. It doesn't have a value set to it. That's fine, because in the very beginning of the scene right here we're going to type in var for variable, modify variable of an object, player, variable, health. I'm going to set it to 100. And after that, we're going to want to create an object. So create an object, health bar, and X position we're going to do player, X, and then player dot Y. Sometimes that happens. Go. We're going to leave it on the base layer, hit OK. And the next thing we're going to do is create a new event, and this event is going to have the always condition on it. And I'll tell you why, if I can type. First things first, so this event is actually going to tell the health bar where to be at all times on the screen, and it's also going to tell our health bar to make sure it is always the amount that is appropriate for the player's actual health. So what we're going to do is we're going to position, and then we're going to position of an object, health bar. We're going to set this equal to, player.x, enter. Set this equal to player.y. And I'm going to make a mistake on purpose just so you guys can see what we're going to be doing here. Okay. No, we're going to stop right there because I want to show you what things look like now. So when we hit play, we don't see anything. Why is that? Well, right now, we don't have anything telling this, which by the way, this asset is the same size as the player asset, so they're spawning on top of each other. The player X and the player Y, it's the same. So what we need to do is go in here, and then we need to subtract player dot height. You know what, let's do times 1.5, because then if we just do minus one player height, it's going to be right on top of each other, and that doesn't look very good. So we're going to do 1.5. Also, we put this in parentheses here so that PEMDAS, so that it knows order of operations. So we want to have this amount here, how tall the player is, multiplied by 1.5 first before we subtract it from the position of the Y, which will make the health bar spawn more vertically, like so. So that's great. It's following us around. Awesome. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to do a width, and it needs to be of a sprite size because we actually used a sprite instead of a tileable sprite. And we're going to set it equal to player dot variable. Okay. health. Hit OK. And when we hit OK on this, there we go. Our health bar looks pretty good so far. So now it's the same size as the variable we created for our player's health. We're going to create a new event because we want to make sure that we can be damaged by the enemy. This is going to be a very simple damaging system, but it's just for our purposes of this tutorial to show you how to use it. Whoops. Player, enemy. We're going to leave this as no. We're going to use the trigger once while true event. We've talked about that in the previous tutorials, one of my helpful tips there. For some reason I couldn't remember what it was called. And we're going to modify the variable of player health. We're going to subtract 25, just a quarter of the player's health every time the player interacts with the enemy. And now if we go over and we touch the enemy, our health bar goes down. Excellent. And just as a bonus, if we say like if we wanted to have it to where if the player dies, he won't be able to move anymore. The way I normally do it is we go to variable, objects variable, and we're going to go to player health is greater than, whoops, don't invert that, greater than 0. Hit OK. Then ignore default controls for player as no. And then we're going to copy, paste, and then if it's less than or equal to 0, the reason why we use less than or equal to is because if for whatever reason, because you're obviously going to have more than one enemy in your game, for whatever reason, if the damage is greater than the amount of health that the player has left, and of course you can put rules in there to guard against negative health, but just in case, I like to make sure that the game is as unbreakable as possible, obviously. And then we're going to hit ignore default controls yes, so that means if our player loses all of his health, we will no longer be able to move him. Great. And let's see. Oh, and if you, I wonder if we could actually make it to where, hold on. Yeah. I wonder if we could make it to where, oops, wrong collision. The player will still get hurt, which we should, but not be able to overlap with the enemy. Okay. If you really wanted that. Yep. That still works. Excellent. And of course, always save your projects. It's a good habit to form. Okay. Well, that's pretty much everything. I can't really think of anything else we'd want to do with our health bar here. So, guys, if this was helpful, please like and subscribe for more helpful videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.